Let's head to the tiny Tararua settlement of Pongaroa, which woke up this morning to the smell of petrol fumes, and its residents couldn't be happier about that. After 4 years without a gas station, fuel pumps are again operating, all thanks to a never-say-die community spirit. Our reporter Robin Martin has more.
Fed up with a 2-hour commute to either Pongaroa or Dannevirke to get gas, locals decided about 2 years ago to do something about it. Fast forward to today, and the community has raised $250,000 and formed a unique partnership with Allied Petroleum to open a fuel stop outlet in the village. A member of the Pongaroa Fuel Stop Committee, Mark Wheeler, says many of the village's 120 residents had endured an arduous fuel run more than once a week.
If you're working on a number of properties through the week, you might have to make that drive twice to do it. And of course, by the time you get back, you've used about a quarter of the fuel that you've actually put in the damn thing. So people used to go to town with, jerry cans stacked all over the back seat.
Mr Wheeler says they wrangled money out of the Tararua District Council, got donations and took out a loan with Allied to get the project off the ground. He says residents also got stuck in and got their hands dirty doing the groundwork at the site.
When we said, we've got the contractors here, we could do it ourselves, they probably thought we'd turn up with a couple of old two-wheel drive David Brown tractors and a backhoe. And they've actually complimented us when we finished what we did. It said, you couldn't have got it done better by a civil contractor.
The administrator at the Pongaroa school, Phelan Hoggard, says she won't miss the fuel run.
Somebody like myself would be taking 3 20-litre containers in the back of the car, on a weekly or fortnightly basis, plus fill the car up. So you plan it. You've got to plan. If you're going for groceries, well, it's all part of the experience.
Ms Hoggard says travellers will also benefit from the new pumps.
So people do happily wander along Route 52 and suddenly find themselves in Pongaroa and there is no petrol station. So everybody's had to sort of rally around and point them in a right direction to see if they can fill a can to get them to maybe Dannevirke or Masterton or Pongaroa, wherever the nearest petrol stop would be.
The General Manager of Allied Petroleum, Alistair Tennant, admits to being initially sceptical about the financial viability of a Pongaroa fuel stop, but he says the locals have shared the risk and forced his hand.
I would say it's been a real vision and tenacity by a local committee that's really got them to where they got to today. Anyone who had a digger or something in the district, I'm sure, was called in to generously donate their time and their equipment. So it was a tremendous effort by the locals.
Mr Tennant says Allied put up about $1 million and he sees potential for similar deals elsewhere.
I do have a suspicion that this won't be the last opportunity we have to do something like this. Yeah, I think they won't be alone in terms of small towns around New Zealand where people realise that having a public fuel supply in a little town is pretty important.
For an exhausted but exhilarated Mr Wheeler, the fuel stop, which opened on Saturday, has taken on almost a spiritual quality.
That evening after it got dark, we actually went out, and you can see it from the hotel. That's about 400 yards down the road. And the sign was illuminated, the site was illuminated, and we said to one another, there's no Christmas lights display or fireworks display anywhere that could look better than that now.
The unmanned fuel stop will operate 24/7, 7 days a week at the crossroads of Route 52, Post Road and the Pongaroa Pongaroa Road. For Checkpoint, ko Robin Martin tēnei.